What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking ahead to game week 35. We'll also talk a little bit about the game week 36 double game weeks and the players that I'm looking to target for that. I'm of course free hitting in game week 37 with a bench boost in game week 36. Before we do that, let's have a quick look at how we are getting on so far in game week 34, recording with just the Chelsea-Manchester United game to take place still, and I did play my wild card this week. In goal, Schmeichel got an 8, Robertson 15, Trent with a 5 and Alonso with a 10. Really my standout performers in defence, and I did keep Saka in my team who did get 13. He is currently yellow flagged because he did pick up an injury late into the second half of that Arsenal-Manchester United game. However, I am hopeful that he will be back available going into game week 35. On my bench, I do have Dennis first sub in case James is not available for that Manchester United game. However, he does seem to be back in training for Chelsea ahead of that. Thomas Tuchel has a press conference this afternoon before I'm recording, but whether he starts or not, I'll either get Dennis's 5 points or James starting, so I don't really mind either way. Kai Havertz with a 6, who is my captain, so let's hope he starts and can do something against Manchester United. However, it was between him and Mo Salah, so to be honest, whether he just gets a couple of points, there's not going to be that much in it. So there is upside if he does something, but there's not too much risk if he does not. This has put me on 69 points overall with still 3 players plus my captain to play. So a pretty good game week for me. A game week rank of 170k. So again, it does give me a green arrow up from 12k to 7.5k. Finally, I'm inside the top 10k places. Points score overall 2,317. Very happy for the first time this season to have made it inside the top 10k. We have just 4 game weeks left after that Chelsea-Manchester United game. Can I hold on and see where I get to with these final few game weeks? But with that in mind, let's have a look now at some potential transfers that I'm going to look to make over the next couple of weeks to hopefully keep me in there. So potential transfers for game week 35. You can see down below me that I have 0.5 million, 1 free transfer in the bank, and then 2 chips still left to play in my bench boost and in my free hit. So let's get into some potential transfers ahead of game week 35. In terms of the players that I'm considering selling this week, we have James, Havertz and Joao Pedro. So James seems to be a bit of a rotation risk, keeps picking up small injuries. I don't think Chelsea are going to risk him very much between now and the FA Cup final, so I do worry about the amount of minutes that he'll play both in game week 35 and in game week 36 as well. Their double game week. I can't see him starting both in that double. It's a similar story for Havertz, although I think it's less of necessarily a short-term problem, but I think again in game week 36, the chances of him playing both in that double game week are quite small, and there are some other options now that we've had the Manchester City double game week announced that I do think replacing both of these Chelsea players with are a very nice option indeed, and we'll get into those in just a moment. The final one we've got is Joao Pedro of Watford. Again, he lost his place against Manchester City. Do I expect him to start in double game week 36? Probably one of the 2 games, which is okay. They have a pretty good double of Crystal Palace and Everton, but Nketiah is a similar price, who does seem to be starting for Arsenal, so I could move sideways. However, with the other transfers that I have planned, it does feel like that would have to be a -4. So I think the chances are that I'd probably stick with Joao Pedro, but in terms of the replacements for these players, there are a few of them that really stand out. In the midfield, we've got Foden and Coutinho on the left-hand side. I like both of these. Coutinho doubles in both 36 and 37. However, because I'm free hitting in game week 37, I don't need to worry about that too much. We now have an announcement that Manchester City will double in game week 36 against Wolves and against Newcastle, so I really like Foden, and he's probably more of a priority given that Coutinho plays Liverpool as part of his double. In the defence, we have Laporte and Cash, and it's a similar argument to Foden-Coutinho. Foden has a higher chance of rotation, whereas I think Laporte and Cash will both play both games. The only issue is Cash has a good fixture this week at home to Norwich, whereas Laporte goes away to Leeds. So we've already said they're going to come out and try and attack Manchester City. They do also have Champions League next midweek, so there's a chance of rotation for Laporte. However, again, for the double, I think he's likely to play both, and I do want that triple up on Manchester City for the run-in and for the final day of the season as well. And up front, for potential replacements for Joao Pedro, Nketiah could go into my team, and I've already mentioned him, and the other one is Ollie Watkins. Again, I'm looking looking at Aston Villa, but because I'm free hitting in game week 37, it makes them not nearly as appealing for me because they do play Burnley and Liverpool in their game week 36 double. If you don't have your free hit in game week 37, then I do think that Aston Villa guys in the three that I've got here, the Everton picks in the likes of Gordon, Richarlison, again, who have a double game week, are really attractive options that you should be considering buying into your team either this week or next week as well. So those are a few of the key transfers, but just to summarize those, James, Havertz are the two I'm really looking to transfer out, and it is Foden, Laporte, and maybe Matty Cash that I'm considering bringing in. Again, no transfers confirmed, and to be honest, I think I'm not going to make any unless we get confirmation that the likes of Reece James or Saka are not going to play, in which I will have to make a transfer. I am going to make no transfers. In goal, I am starting Foster at home to Burnley over starting Schmeichel, who is away at Tottenham. Again, I'm just playing the fixture a bit here. I don't love either goalkeeper this week, but I knew that Foster did have a good fixture here. Burnley have looked much better recently since they've sacked Sean Dyche in terms of their attacking output, so there is a chance that they score here, but I am going to start with Foster in goal. Moving on to the defence, Cancelo starts again, and with him being suspended for the first round of that Champions League fixture, I do expect him to start. It is a difficult fixture and he's not been on good point scoring form that much recently compared to how it was earlier in the season, but I'm definitely holding him and starting him this week, so I do expect him to start and a good chance of a clean sheet. Next up, we add triple Chelsea. So again, this will depend on if I think James and Havertz are likely to start. They could make way for Foden and for Laporte, both of which I think have a good chance of starting against Leeds this weekend, given that Foden has played a lot of minutes recently, but did also get a rest in game week 33. So they're all in here. It's a good fixture away at Everton, although the motivation for Chelsea isn't quite there at the moment, which is a bit of a concern. So hoping for some points here, but they may get rotated out. Next up, we add triple Liverpool. So double defence in Trent, Robertson and Salah. It is away at Newcastle, but they do also have a short turnaround before both their Champions League games, which again means there is quite a lot of rotation risk in my defence, particularly with those Liverpool and Chelsea players that we've got in there. Salah, of course, starts in my team alongside Trent and Robbo. If I can get 2 starts out of the 3, I'd be happy with that because I do think there's a good chance of the rotation coming in for Liverpool, but they are still great picks between now and the end of the season. Next up in my midfield, we add Son, who is playing Leicester at home. Leicester, with those 2 Europa League matches either side of this fixture, means that there is going to be a fair amount of rotation for that Leicester team we are predicting, which makes Tottenham assets very good. If you are holding Kane, if you are holding Son, Kulusevski, Davies in your defence, Emerson Royale even, I would definitely play them this week because I do expect Tottenham to come back firing against a Leicester team that I expect to rotate very heavily going into this game week. To complete the midfield, we do start Saka again. We'll have to wait and see if we get any injury news on him. I'm hoping that he's going to be okay to play. He looked pretty fine walking around on the pitch after full time. So it is against a West Ham team who, again, like Leicester, have a lot of European minutes to play either side of this game. So I am hoping that Saka can continue on his point scoring potential in this game. And up front, we've gone with Dennis. So Burnley at home, again, I'm targeting that fixture. It is a good fixture. Dennis has looked okay in recent game weeks and got an assist against Manchester City. On my bench, it does mean that I'm leaving Pukki away at Aston Villa, Joao Pedro at home to Burnley, and Gordon at home to Chelsea. So if there is rotation for the likes of Robertson, James, Alonso, Trent, I do have an okay bench to come and fill in for them. With these defenders being so highly owned, I'm okay with Pukki coming off my bench away to Aston Villa, and even Joao Pedro coming off my bench at home to Burnley. I do hope that he comes back into the lineup. Now, that's how I'm planning on lining up, rolling my free transfer. Again, if we get confirmed injury news for someone definitely being out in the likes of James, then I may move him to Laporte this week, or Kai Havertz is not going to start, then I may make that move a week earlier. At the moment, captaincy is on Salah with vice captain on Son. But a lot of me is trying to persuade myself to move that captaincy armband to Son ahead of that Leicester fixture, with Salah being the first early kickoff in the game week. We know never to trust that early kickoff. It never works for us FPL managers. So the moment it's Captain Salah, but that is definitely about a 60-40 split at the moment. It could definitely change, and Son is the one that I'm looking at as a potential backup as my vice captain currently. So that's how I'm lining up and planning to line up for game week 35. Let me know your thoughts about my team. Ask any questions about your team in the comment section down below, and I will answer them ahead of the game week 35 deadline. There will also be a deadline stream, so do join in that to get your questions answered live as well and hear the discussions. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. We will be back again next week with videos, with streams. Thank you all for watching, and I'll be back again very soon.